Today, I'm going to show you how I get free DR90 backlinks. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do the same and how you can basically emulate and steal my processes, etc. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So, for example, if you look at my website, you can see that these are a bunch of DR90 and above backlinks that were built to this site. And what you can see over here is the domain we got the backlink from, the DR, the domain traffic. So you can see, for example, this is a DR92 website. They've got 3.3 million traffic right here. And we can also see the anchor text plus a page that it's linking out to as well. So what I'm going to do is run through these backlinks that we've built and show you exactly how we've built them, the process, and how you can emulate and do the same for your website too if you want to get free DR90 and above backlinks, because this is something I don't really see people talking about with actual proof. And you can see that we've got proof of every single backlink that we built right here. So with that, we're going to get straight into it. And if you want to see an example of what the backlink looks like, these are not like your spammy sort of links. If we open up this one, for example, you can see this literally just came out September last year. We've actually got the backlink down here as well. And this is kind of a natural way to get backlinks, right? Because you're receiving backlinks inside content. It's not like some spammy auto-generated backlink. You can see that it's been editorially added because it's got like a learn more section right here. And like people would actually read this content, check out this website, etc. And then when you click on the link, you can see that it links directly to Julian Goldie's website, right? And it's pretty easy to emulate this method, right? So the way that we got this backlink right here is basically through outreach. Now, I wouldn't say that DR90 backlinks are typically coming from outreach. I think that it's quite difficult to get these sort of backlinks, but over time, can you scale outreach and will you get some high DR websites from outreach? Absolutely. Now, also one thing to note here is like when you're checking out these backlinks that you build, for example, like the backlink down here, for example, you want to check out the source code and just make sure normally if you're getting a backlink from outreach, it should be do follow. So for example, if we type in my website right here, you can see the backlink and you can see that it's do followed. How do you know it's do followed? Because there's not a no follow tag within the href, right? So this is a code. It says hrefs equals, and then it's got a link to my website. And if it is a no follow link, aka it doesn't send any link juice to your website or any power or any authority, then it will have no follow within the code right here. By the way, if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to post them. And if you're enjoying this video, please smash a like on it. So how can you actually do the outreach? Here's what I normally do, right? So I'll pull up a tool like Ahrefs, and I'm going to go to Content Explorer over here. I'm going to switch to in title, and then I'm going to type in the relevant topic that I want to do outreach around, right? So what this is about finding relevant topics that you can potentially get a backlink from. So for example, if I put something random like SEO training Canada or best SEO training in Canada, I search for something like that, it's typically not going to have that many link building prospects. And the name of the game with outreach is to get as many potential link building prospects as you can so that you've got more opportunities to get more backlinks. And by the way, if you don't want to know what backlinks are, they're kind of like votes to say that your content is good. The more backlinks you get from relevant, authoritative, and natural sources, the more likely you are to rank on Google. There's an example of that. If we put in, for example, I don't know, like Perplexity AI into Google, they're a website that I've seen absolutely nailing it recently. And you can see that the traffic has gone up from like 500,000 to 2.6 million. If we also click referring domains, you can see there's a very clear correlation between the backlinks built, so the referring domains built, and the amount of traffic this website gets. So you can see over time, the more backlinks you get from relevant authoritative sources, the more likely you are to rank on Google. And you can see that's an actual case study with proof of how to get millions of traffic with backlinks. So what you can do when you're on Ahrefs in the Content Explorer is you can actually pop in the title and search for your keyword and find stuff relevant to you. So for example, if you're in the SEO space, you might find like SEO related content. If you're in the microphone niche, you'll find microphone or audio related content, right? And all you're trying to do is find relevant authoritative sources that you can potentially get a backlink from. Now, the problem is if you go to niche, for example, like this is a really long tail keyword right here, then it's going to be very difficult to find relevant sources that you can get a backlink from. So you can see most of these articles don't have many backlinks pointing to them at all, like only 10 right there, 0, 0, 1. That's not going to be a very good link building topic for outreach when you're creating the content. because the name of the game here is to basically find potential opportunities for link building by finding pages that have received a lot of backlinks relevant to your niche that you can then create a piece of content on your site about the same topic and then reach out to other websites and say, hey, do you mind linking to me? Now, what we could do is if we filter down to just SEO and then we sort by referring domains, you can see that by going a lot broader, for example, like SEO, there's a lot more link building opportunities for outreach, right? So the solution is pretty simple. If you're struggling to get backlinks, you need to reach out to more websites. If you need to reach out to more websites, you have to find a piece of content that you can create that's very broad and reaches the whole of your niche rather than something that's super specific where there's not going to be many link building opportunities, right? So if we look at this example, you can see that if we created something like an ultimate guide to SEO or 15 SEO tips, for example, you can see this Ahrefs blog that's attracted nearly 500 backlinks right here. These are the sort of articles that you can create on your website too, and then you can reach out to the same sites that have linked to your competitor. For example, let's have a look at this website right here, this example. So we're going to open up, and if we go to backlinks right here, you can see that there's all these potential link building opportunities linking out to this article by Ahrefs, right? And so what you can do from there is you can take the blog, the link address, once you've done the prospecting and you know exactly what type of content to create, you can plug that into Ahrefs like so. And then from here, you can go to backlinks. And basically what you want to do is scrape the do follow backlinks that have linked to this website. We're going to filter down to one link per domain and do follow. And you would export that into a spreadsheet so that you've got a list of all the domains you could potentially get a backlink from as well. Just going to answer a couple of comments and questions. So we've got a question from Lau who says, I want you to be my SEO mentor. So if you want help with SEO, you can check out the SEO boardroom, and that costs, you can see the prices here. There's a discount code scrolling through the bottom of the video if you want to get that before the first other 10 people do. Otherwise, if you want weekly coaching with me, if you really want like some mentorship where you can DM me, you can jump on live calls with me, you get all my courses, etc., then you can join the SEO Elite Circle, and that's available. You can sign up instantly, get instant access, and it's an amazing community. So we're going to keep going through now. And just to recap, right, because I'm going to put this into a process. And what you would do is you would reverse engineer your competitors' content, find the best content to create, like I was talking about. From there, you're going to find prospects. So you find relevant prospects that have linked to your competitors that you can get a backlink from too. Now you might be saying, okay, but how do I find relevant content? Well, you just go to Content Explorer over here, and then from there, title, find something very broad to your niche, right? So just to break this down, and you'll get access to all the SOPs at the end of this video, but you go to Content Explorer on Ahrefs, type in a broad topic, filter to title, and then find topics with a lot of referring domains, like you can see right here. So that is step one. Step number two, prospects. Just find relevant prospects that link to your competitors that you can get a backlink from too. How do you do that? You can just type in your competitor's domain and page that's received a lot of backlinks from stage one, plug that into backlinks over here, filter to do follow and one link per domain, and then you can click export to CSV right there, right? So find links from step one, type into the backlink section of Ahrefs. From there, filter to do follow and one link per domain, export to CSV. Now, when you're doing this, for example, like when you're exporting all of these rows like this, we can plug it into a Google Sheet. All right, so we can plug it into a Google Sheet like so. And by the way, all the processes are broken down right here, and you've got the video example of how we do it too. But when we export the domains, you're going to see something like this, right? And there's going to be a lot of spam in there. For example, like you're probably not going to get a backlink from a Japanese website. So you might as well delete that from the sheet like that, right? And so if we open up the referring domains and we'll sort by domain traffic and also by domain rating, as you can see right here, you've got the page title as well. You would just go through the list and remove anything that looks really spammy. So for example, if we go to data, sort range, advanced, data as header row, then we're going to filter by domain rating. In fact, we'll filter by domain traffic for now. We'll go from A to Z. What you can see is that a lot of these sites don't have any domain traffic, right? They're not getting any backlinks. Now, I tend to avoid sites that aren't getting any traffic at all, simply because if they're not getting traffic, then Google probably doesn't like it. So you can remove those. If you want the keyboard shortcut for that on a Mac, it's Option, Command, and minus. But basically, you can filter. How do you filter? Remove any sites with zero domain traffic. And then also, if we scroll down right here, you probably want to remove any sites that have like a zero DR, especially if you're, I mean, you can build links from sites with like domain rating 0. We don't at our agency, but you can. It's just like if you're, if you're above like DR30, it's not really going to move the needle. So for example, you can remove any sites with like DR0 and below, like that, right? And as we go through right here, you've got the domain traffic, you've got the domain rating. You know all these sites get traffic, you know they have a decent domain rating, and you just run through the list and go, right, which of these sites looks the most relevant, right? So if you look at the referring page title right here, you can see that a lot of them are a bit weird. For example, like this one right here, it looks like either Chinese or Japanese rating. Probably going to remove that from the list because it doesn't seem to make sense. Same with this one right here. You could remove sort of like Russian text as well. Is a good way to filter through. And then also, as we scroll down, you just want to make sure all these titles are relevant to the topic you're building backlinks about, right? So for example, if you see something like this, where it says Nielsen Kilgore member profile, that's not related to our article about SEO. And so I'm going to delete it from the list. What you can also do is you could open up one of the websites or all of the websites on this list, have a look through the page, and just say, right, is this the sort of page I want to backlink from? And even though it's from December 2015, you can see that it is relevant to the topic we're trying to get backlinks from. It's a bit of a link farm, so you can see it's linking out to loads of different stuff, but that still seems relevant to me. Now, if you want to get really strict on the criteria of what types of backlinks you remove from your list and how you prospect them, etc., then I've actually got this link building and prospecting criteria right here, where, step by step, we use this 50-point checklist. We run it through 3 people in the team just to double check they're the best quality backlinks. And you can use this to filter any links out that you don't find relevant. So if you want to be really strict, use this. But I know that most website owners who are watching this probably don't have the resources or the time or the energy to be able to do this themselves, right? So you can use this, but it's a lot of work. My agency does it because we want to protect our clients' websites. We want to get them the best backlinks possible. And we know that that's what our clients want. So we made a service that people love, right? Whereas, for example, if you're running through this list and you're running through thousands of prospects, it might not be possible for you. Now, that's basically it. You want to just, let me have a look. You want to remove any sites with 0 domain traffic, plus DR0, plus not relevant topics in the title of the blog. And that's basically how you filter, right? And so this is probably the most time consuming and hardest part of the process, but it's also the most valuable too. Then we're going to move on to the outreach itself, right? So these 2 stages are absolutely crucial. Why is that? It's because with prospecting, when you're trying to find relevant topics you can get backlinks from, if you don't play the numbers game, aka you don't have enough prospects you can get backlinks from, aka you can't reach out to enough sites, then you won't get enough backlinks to hit the hit the number of links that you want. So for example, if you only reach out to 10 people, there's a high chance you get 0 backlinks, right? Whereas for example, if you reach out to 1,000 people, there's a high chance that you get 10 or more backlinks. And so using a process like this, you can easily find sites with a lot of referring domains, which means that you can pick a topic which is going to attract a lot of backlinks for you. And that's why finding the right content to create and prospecting from the right sites is absolutely crucial. On top of that, if you go after the wrong sites, if you build backlinks from the wrong sites, obviously that can be harmful for your site, right? It can hurt your rankings. You could get a penalty. It could be detrimental for the whole of your site if you get backlinks from the wrong places, like toxic websites, for example. And so you really have to nail the content and the prospects, which is why I'm showing you these 2 stages first and why I'm spending so much time on it. So if this video is helping you, by the way, just smash a like on it just so that it can reach more people. And if you have any questions as we go along, like I say, just feel free to post them inside the comments and I'll try and answer them the best they can. By the way, I think at one point I forgot to share my screen on a certain part, but if you have questions about it or you're stuck or you didn't understand certain parts of the process that I missed, then just comment in the comment section and I'll answer any questions you have. But basically that's it, right? So now you've done the content and you've created it. So you create the relevant content for your site. Then you're going to prospect. When it comes to prospecting, I've talked all about that. Now it's time to do the outreach. What do I mean by outreach? Well, basically, I'm going to pull up this example from Lemlist. We actually created this step-by-step guide for writing emails and that sort of thing. But essentially, when it comes to outreach, you want to reach out to relevant sites via email, via cold email, and just ask them, can I have a backlink from your site? Right? Very simple. If with link building, closed mouth doesn't get fed. Okay, if you don't ask the question of whether I can get a backlink or not, then you won't receive any backlinks, especially if your website is not ranking for anything naturally, right? And so it's really important to do the outreach and actually ask websites for a link. Now, one of the best ways to get the email addresses for the sites that you want to reach out to is via this tool, hunter.io. And what you can actually do is they have a bulk search section where you can plug in all the URLs from your spreadsheet like this, and it will find all the email addresses for your site. And additionally, one thing you're going to notice when you find all the email addresses for your outreach campaign is that a lot of them have email addresses, but those email addresses are not active, right? So if you send them an email, yes, they're set up, but they might bounce, for example. And so you also want to not just find the email addresses, but also verify them. Now, you can do both of those things using Hunter.io, and it's a pretty powerful tool. That's what I used to use when I was doing this for like my own site and that sort of thing. Otherwise, you can actually go onto AppSumo, and usually they have these sort of deals on, these lifetime deals, where you can type in whatever tool you're looking for a cheaper alternative of. So we could put, for example, Hunter into AppSumo, and we could find relevant email address finders inside AppSumo. Now you can see that nothing comes under the alternative for Hunter. So I'm just going to put email finder. And what you can see is there's a bunch of tools that you can use for not just sending the email, but also validating the emails and finding the emails too, right? Why do you want to find the emails? Because you need people to reach out to. Why do you want to validate them? Because otherwise those email addresses will bounce 50% of the time if you don't find the right ones. Why do you want to use AppSumo for finding a tool that can do that? Well, it's going to save you money, because instead of spending like 300 euros a month, which is what I used to do, you can find one that's like a lifetime deal of like you see, $70 or $80 right here. Just going to see if there's any other email address finders inside AppSumo. I think if I had a bit more time, I could find some inside there. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. So we've got a lead generation option right here, where you can create lead generation and generate email leads from like Facebook and Twitter, etc. And basically, I'm pretty sure if you keep researching on AppSumo, you'd find some relevant email finders inside there. But however you do it, whether you do it with Hunter or whether you do it with AppSumo, the thing about this is that you can easily find relevant email addresses to reach out to. based on the list of websites that you've prospected already. Now, at this point, Nina is saying, what do you write in your outreach email? So I'm going to come on to that in a second, and I'll show you some good templates that you can actually use to write the email and to use for outreach when it comes to link building. But essentially with outreach, what you want to do is use an email tool, e.g. Hunter, or find one on AppSumo, or Product Hunter is another good place to find cheaper tools for doing this. Then from there, you would also verify the email addresses to avoid them bouncing. And additionally, you want to create like a burner domain of your website. And what do I mean by that? Well, for example, if you go onto namecheap.com, what we can do is we can find an alternative version of our website that's still relevant, but doesn't burn our main domain. So for example, if I have a website like juliangoldie.co.uk and I'm sending emails to my main email list on here, I don't want the domain to get burned. But if I'm doing a lot of cold email outreach, there's a chance that my domain gets marked as spam. And so I want to create a burner version of this domain that I can use for outreach so that if I get marked as spam, it doesn't impact the deliverability of my main domain. So create a burner domain based on your main URL. Now, if I'm doing this for multiple clients, I would use just generic email addresses that I can use for like multiple clients. But if I'm doing it for just like one main website, which a lot of people watching this will be doing, then what you can do is you can put in, for example, I don't know, cheaper birds into the domain search of Namecheap, and you can find alternative TLDs, for example, like chipperbirds.org or .bot, for example, that you could use to do outreach. And by doing this, you can easily find potential prospects. Now, for some reason, at this point, my camera decided to switch off. So I'm just going to switch over to my main webcam, as you can see right here, and we'll keep running through this process. So we've talked about an email tool, we've talked about verifying the email addresses, and we've talked about creating a burner domain based on your main URL. What's next? Now it's time to write the email. Now, if you want some examples of email templates that I've sent, you can check out this blog on lemlist.com that breaks down the whole process. But essentially, you can see an example email template that I've used previously, and you would just use this for your own site, right? So for example, it's got quite a spiritually themed email template right here. And so if you're doing outreach for your site, you would just tailor it to your niche. For example, if this was in the birds niche, we're not going to say namaste. We would just say like, hey, John, and then you might maybe insert a few birds related references inside there. Now, here's another email, as you can see right here, another email template. And you can see the email subject line. Usually I keep this really short. Then it's going to say hello in the first line. You just tailor that to whatever niche you're in. So for example, if you're in the spiritual niche, then you might put something like namaste. If you're in a language niche like Spanish, then you might put like hola, John, something like that. Then you would introduce who you are, what website you're from, what your site is about. I usually put in a few puns just to make this more interesting. And then you can see we've mentioned their URL, which is going to come directly from our prospecting list right here. And after that, it's going to be like, hey, I just posted this guy to SEO or whatever, which I thought would complement your page. Would you consider linking to it? Here's a link. And, you know, if you did link to it, I'd be happy to do this as a favor in return. You always want to make it win-win because, for example, if a site is saying, right, I want to, you know, if a site is like looking at your email address and looking at the email you sent, you want to make it win-win so that they feel obligated to do this. If you don't give them a reason to do it, so for example, if you don't make it win-win, if you don't help them in some way in return, then they're not going to link out to you. And I think that's a step that a lot of people miss. Then you can say, please let me know what you think. And by the way, sometimes they're going to come back to you and they're going to be like, right, I don't want you to promote any of my blogs to social media like you've offered, but I do want something else in return. Maybe it's a link or something like that in return. And then you say, you just sign off, put your email signature here, make sure you include a unsubscribe button in your email template, and you're good to go. And that's exactly what it looks like. So I'm just going to insert that directly into this SOP right here. And you get access to this SOP at the end of the video. But so far, we've covered content, we've covered prospecting, and we've covered outreach as well. And we've covered how to write emails, how to send them, how to find them, etc. By the way, if you're wondering how to send them, I used to use Lemlist quite a lot, but I think if you actually sign up to Hunter, you can send the emails directly on Hunter as well. Another really good tool is Pitchbox. Pitchbox is great for sending the emails, but basically you can use Hunter, Lemlist, or Pitchbox. There's loads of different email sending tools, but these are the three that I've tested the most. So we've covered what do you write in your outreach emails. We've answered Nina's question right there. Technical Rajput says, can you share your sheet where you provide these services? So if you check the link in the description, you'll see a link to book in a free SEO strategy session. And you can basically book in a one-to-one call with us where we'll show you exactly how to build backlinks to your website, how to do it step by step. And we'll also give you a custom game plan, plus we'll answer any SEO questions you have on the call. So feel free to book in that SEO strategy session. And Jeff says, dude, I've never received the email link to yourself. I've tried several times. So what I would recommend is if you're struggling to get the email address login details, then you can log in via this link right here. Check your spam, check your junk emails. And if you still don't receive an email, try a different email address, right? And then you could, if you're struggling to log in as well, then you can use Safari and Chrome. But basically, I would check your spam and your junk folders. And if there's still not an email address, if there's still not an email from us for the free course, then just try a different email address. But either way, that should work. Shout out to Jeff and thanks for joining again. So, you know how to send the emails, you know how to write them. By the way, when you're writing the emails, you want to have 2 follow-up emails too, because quite often the links that you want are not going to be built from the first email you send. You might have to follow up once or twice. And typically I find that most of our backlinks are built after the second or third follow-up of our outreach campaign. But that's essentially how to do the outreach. So we've got a question from Nina, which says, what percentage is the expected success rate for your cold email outreach? So it depends really. I mean, if this is the first time you're doing it, I would keep your expectations low because it's a skill and you learn how to optimize each stage of the process, just like you would with SEO. So for example, if an SEO has never done SEO before and they're starting a new website, it will take them a lot longer to rank unless they have some sort of coach or mentor or training versus someone who's done this like 10, maybe 10 years, 20 years, something like that, right? And so I would say for me, like I've had as high as like 10% conversion rates from outreach. For someone who's just getting started, it might be as low as like 2 or 5%, but just know that it's a skill set you build over time. And gradually as you optimize each stage of the process and you learn from the optimizations and focus on those 1% improvements, you can get better and better at it. Also, what I would say is it depends on the niche that you're in. So for example, if you're in something like payday loans, there's a very high chance that most people don't want to link to you because, you know, it's a bit of a dodgy niche and some people don't like it. Whereas if, for example, you're in something like feel good, maybe, I don't know, something spiritual, it's actually very easy to build backlinks at scale from outreach simply because, you know, it's a positive, uplifting topic and it's not very commercial. And therefore, the conversion rates will be a lot higher for that. Strategy Wolf says, does this work for new websites? Absolutely. So I'm going to pull up an example website that I set up after the 5th of March. Brand new website set up, as you can see right here. And you can see we haven't published much content to this site. We've only got a few blogs on there. That's why it's not getting much traffic. But what you can see is that it's gone from DR0 to DR49 in the space of a few months, right? So you can see the average domain rating, right here. And you can see that it started off DR0 around March when we first bought it. Then it went up to DR3, then 4 in April, then 12 in May, and now it's up to DR49, right? And it's continuing to stay at DR49. Now, if you look at the backlinks that we've built, you can see that a lot of these backlinks that were built have been from outreach, like you see right here, it's linking to our content, etc. And then additionally, the traffic is going up. It is making it easier to rank. Now, again, this is not a site that I've published much content on. I think I've only published blogs within like the last 1 or 2 weeks since it got high DR. But basically, you can see that this works for new sites. So we're going to keep going on now. And the final step really is negotiations. And I'll come on to what that means in a minute. But we'll answer some of these other questions as well. Jayant says, Sir, do you eat SEO in breakfast? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, mate, all day. Nina says, wow, 10%, that's a lot. Thank you. And Web Ninja AI says, spiritual websites get organic backlinks. So I wasn't saying that. I was saying that with outreach, it's easier to build backlinks in, say, the spiritual niche, simply because those sort of sites are easier niches than, say, something like a casino or something like payday loans. Additionally, you can get backlinks organically in any sort of niche, but the thing to note here is that you only really get those organic backlinks once you start getting traction to your website. Now, how do you get traction to your website, aka rankings? Well, you have to start building backlinks to your website. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg situation where if you want to start ranking, you need backlinks. And then once you start ranking and once you start getting backlinks, it's easier to attract natural backlinks to your website. And so we're on to the final stage of the process, which is negotiations. Now, when I'm sending, for example, emails like this one that you can see right here, like I say, people are going to go back and forth with me and they're going to be like, right, I don't want a social media promo, but I do want a link back. Or I don't want a link back, but I do want a promotion via your email list, etc. And so when you negotiate with different people that you reach out to, you just have to note that you have to be win-win here in terms of your mindset. I've actually got a mindset section inside my SEO Elite Circle for outreach. Let me open this up right here. And there's a few things. I'll give you a free preview of the link building mindset section so that, you know, you can see what it's like and see what you think. But basically, when it comes to negotiating backlinks, let's open this up right here. As you can see, these are some of the negotiation ideas. So, for example, social media promos, link exchanges. What you can also see here as well is that eventually you're going to build up an army of people who will share your content, which builds relationships, right? So, for example, if someone links to you once, they're more likely to link to you over and over again. So I'm just going to write down some of these negotiation tactics. So number one, make it win-win. Right? There has to be a reason for them to take time out of their day to build links to you. The other thing I would say is that branding helps a lot, right? So we used to build backlinks for hunter.io, and you can see their testimonial actually on our website right here from Francois, who's the co-founder of Hunter. And when we were doing backlinks with outreach for hunter.io, one of the things that a lot of people would reply with us to is say, we love your product, we love your brand, right? People used to love Hunter as a tool. And so they were much more likely to link to us. And it's the same for me. Like if I reach out to someone who watches my YouTube videos regularly in the SEO space, then it's going to be much easier for me to build backlinks because these people know and trust me already. They've already seen my videos, right? And so when you're doing this, the bigger your brand is, the easier it is to get backlinks. Additionally, you want to be very flexible. What do I mean by that? Well, there's no such thing as a perfect link. When you're building backlinks, it might be it's not super high DR, but it is relevant to your site. Or it's not super relevant, but it is high DR, right? And so you have to understand that when you're doing outreach, you want to take the links that you can. There's not going to be anything like a perfect link from, you're not going to get a backlink from Forbes, for example, from outreach. And so you just have to kind of be flexible in your mindset. And additionally, realize that it's going to take a lot of following up and negotiating and back and forth in terms of emails. This is why a lot of clients hire us to do the link building for them, because you might be speaking or negotiating with a website owner for like 2 or 3 weeks before they build your backlink. Sometimes it's been like 3 months of follow-ups before we finally get that backlink to one of our sites. But it's worth it in the long run. And so you have to be ready to be, to follow up, plus be patient. And additionally, there's going to be a lot of rejection. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you're starting your first ever link building campaign. It might be that you send like 100 emails, you only get like 1 or 2 backlinks back. And if that's the case, it's okay, because you still win as you're getting those backlinks. But you have to remember there will be a lot of rejection along the way, and you can't feel bad about that. Like I say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And so if you're not reaching out to sites, then you won't get backlinks. This is an absolutely mandatory process for every website if you want to get backlinks to your site. So we've pretty much covered the whole process, which is the content, the prospecting, the outreach, and also the negotiating too. And I've answered all the questions inside the comment section right here. One thing I want to show you as well is I'm going to show you some examples of campaigns that worked really well for us. So let me close all these crazy tabs that we got going on. By the way, if you want to check out that link building section, just join the SEO Elite Circle, and that's a free training. Sorry, that's all my training on link building, etc. But what you're going to see is if we type in, for example, like chipperbirds.com, which is a site I own, we're going to plug this, and then we're going to search by Best Buy links over here, and we'll look at some of the backlinks this website's received, right? And we can see, for example, which pages attracted the most backlinks to the site. So for example, if we look at Best Buy links right here, you can see that the page that attracted the most backlinks was this article on bird music for anxiety. So if we open this up, I'm going to plug this into Ahrefs like so. We can see all the backlinks that were built to this page. So you can see, for example, it's received 90 backlinks from 69 different domains. And what I want to show you again is sometimes you have to go really broad. Now, this page is not really that relevant to the birds niche, but it attracted so many backlinks because of that, because we basically merged the birds niche with the health niche, aka anxiety. And then we created something where we had tons of prospects to reach out to. Because if I go into Content Explorer and we're looking at the number of prospects we can potentially get backlinks from, let's type in title there, and we'll put in birds over here, and we'll search for relevant topics that we can get backlinks from. You can see that there's a few referring domains, but there's actually not that many, right? So there's this page with 1,000 referring domains, but this only has 2, 1, and 3. And that's for the birds niche. That's for something as general as birds. And so what I decided to do was try and cross niche that with anxiety too. As you can see, this page is about birds, and it's also about anxiety. And so if you look at the Content Explorer, what you can see here is because we've unlocked the anxiety niche as well as the birds niche in one single outreach campaign, we open up a lot more potential prospects, which is why this page has attracted so many backlinks to it. It's because we've taken 2 different niches for outreach, merged them together so that we can maximize the number of potential prospects we can get. And that's basically how it goes. Strategy Wolf says primary keyword being faux eyelashes. I'm not sure what the question is there, but if you do have a question, just feel free to post and I will help you. And Nina says, for local websites, I always had a phone call for link exchange and had almost a 100% hit rate. For international sites, I never tried it for fear of rejection. So that's it. You got to be ready to put yourself out there. Now, the more you can connect with people on a personal level, the more backlinks you're going to receive. But at the same time, it's not really that scalable, right? So for example, and also like a lot of people will be scared about jumping on the phone with someone, but what I would say is the outreach is a lot more scalable. You might receive a lower conversion rate than other campaigns, but you can reach maybe 100 or 1,000 times the amount of people in a much shorter time frame. And bear in mind, once you've got a campaign set up like this, and once you've got each step of the process, as you can see right here, set up, so you've got the emails going, you've already got the piece of content created, you don't need to edit that again, etc. Well, then this campaign is running on autopilot for you. And if you use something like Pitchbox as well, Pitchbox actually automatically finds new prospects for that campaign over and over again using AI. So it's pretty cool right there. So I've answered all the questions inside the video today. Hopefully that's helped you, that video breakdown. What I'm actually going to do is I will take the SOP from today on how I get free DR90 backlinks like this, and I'm going to plug that into my free SEO course. So if we go on to my training right here, you can get the step-by-step process on how I find relevant content, how I find the prospects, how I do the outreach, including the email templates, and also my mindset tips right here, so that you or your team can emulate and copy it from me. And this is basically an easy replicable process that I've been using for years now. And it's amazing that most people don't use it because it's such a great way to consistently get backlinks. It works for new sites, as I've shown you already today. It works for any niche, as I've already shown you. And it's very easy to do over and over again. Web Ninja AI says, do you do all live videos at the same time? No. But if you want to see the schedule of my live videos, then you can check out the SEO Elite Circle training. And that actually has a breakdown in the calendar of when my live videos are. So if you want to jump on the live videos, live coaching calls with me, etc., then just check out the calendar inside the SEO Elite Circle and just sign up for that. So what I'm going to do is I will plug in this SOP right here. We'll find the link building section. We're going to add outreach into this course right here. I'm going to make sure that's published. And then if we go to the video notes, let's scroll down. You've got the SOP directly in the video notes right there. And that's essentially it. Now, what I'm going to show you inside this free course, if you don't already have access to it, it's pretty amazing. Like, especially if you're into link building, it's probably better than most paid courses, honestly. Like, if you look at the link building section, shows you how to get, for example, backlinks with podcast outreach. It's even got the process and the step-by-step way that I do it with AI right here. Additionally, it shows you how I create backlinks with SEO, social media, sniper link building outreach, how I get backlinks with videos, custom GPTs, how I get backlinks from testimonials as well, how I get backlinks from PR, calculators, how I increase my DR as well, and then additionally how I do outreach. So there's literally like 12 different ways with proof of each method working, showing exactly how I build backlinks to my website. So if you want to know exactly how to get backlinks, if you want all the SOPs for this, link for the free courses inside the comment section. And if you want to get everything that we've talked about today, personalized to your website, if you want like a link building game plan of like, okay, here's the content to create, here's the keywords to go after, here's how many backlinks you need to rank for each keyword, here's how to do the whole process step by step for your business, etc., then feel free to book in a free SEO strategy session. We'll basically show you one-to-one on a live call exactly how to get more backlinks to your website and personalize everything that we're showing you today. Additionally, we'll answer any questions you have. You'll discover the best link building strategies for your website, and you'll learn how to outrank your competitors with link building. Plus, we'll give you an SEO domination plan. And this is all free. You can just book it instantly inside the description. So I've answered every single comment from today. Hope this video has helped you. If it has, just smash a like on the video just so that it can reach and help more people on YouTube for free. I think this is probably better than most courses. Very practical way, no BS way to build backlinks that I've shown you with proof actually works, and I've shown you with proof that you can get DR90 backlinks for free as well. So thanks everyone who's been watching. Appreciate all your comments and everything else, and I will see you on the next live. Bye-bye.